I think the biggest thing for us, so we obviously had to keep the services running, so keep the water flowing because it's a critical service. And it was making sure that our employees and our customers felt safe. So that there are moments when we come into contact with the public, and there are jobs that we have to do where we have to send 2 people out. So we sort of really focused in on those things that would be problematic or potentially problematic to us, with the need to observe social distancing. So I mean, I guess not a technology thing really, but we hired some extra vans, right? So we went, okay, our workers need to be able to go to these jobs individually now. They cannot do, even if the 2 of them are going to the same place, they have to go separately. We took a lot of steps, and you'll know we work very much with your technology to reduce the need for home visits. So, and that was something we deployed, very quickly in about 6 weeks at the point when pandemic struck. And that enabled our customers to actually record an incident. And so if it was a leak or a flood, and we were able to look at the severity of that, and in some cases talk the customer through fixing it themselves. That reduced our need to go and visit customers' homes and potentially be causing a alarm, or even worse, perhaps spreading the disease. We reduced those home visits by about 30 or 40%. So I think I readily agree with what Jardeep and Chris have said about the pandemic, and its impact has fallen very unevenly on organizations and individuals. But I guess our focus went to those people who were being out in the field and our customers who might come into contact with them. And that was really where we prioritized our efforts. I think it's fair to say, you mentioned in my intro that I own innovation in Northumbrian Water, and I did not start innovating in health and in the area of health and safety, right? I went to customer experience first, and then we gradually sort of found our way around. And one of the things I have to do as a director of this business, and I have to say it's one of the best things I get to do, is I do health and safety visits, and I do a couple of those a month. And in the past, I would have probably spent a morning or an afternoon out in a van, driving around, watching somebody doing their job and chatting to them along the way. And you learn an awful lot when you do that. Obviously, we're doing those things virtually now. But as I was doing that, I sort of came to observe that actually there were, I think, opportunities to improve. And we're an organization that is committed to innovation. So we were prepared to try things out. And I engaged the person who's responsible for health and safety in the organization. And I said, the first thing we tried, honestly, was your technology in terms of things to do differently in health and safety, at least.
Yeah, the 60-second check.
And the 60-second check, yeah, which had become kind of a mantra and a thing. A big cultural shift in our business was to do a 60-second check before you did your job. As Chris sort of said, we were doing those with forms. And we thought, well, let's try it with video and see what happens. And I'll give you an example. And I think examples are illuminating often, aren't they? Yeah. We sometimes we'll put a trailer on the back of the van, and we have to do that sort of classic check of, is the trailer safely attached? Can you see the number plate? Are the brake lights working, et cetera, et cetera? And we were doing that on a form, and we moved that to video. And somebody have a phone, and they would be saying, look, the trailer is safely attached. There's good tread on the tires. You can see the number plates are clearly visible. Here, the brake lights are working. I suppose 3 things came from that, and seeing that observed across that and other job types. One was we had a much better audit trail. So it was that you can imagine the richness of that compared to somebody ticking a form. And I think we always had this suspicion that perhaps they were just ticking the boxes as well, because it does become a bit habitual, and filming something seemed to bring into play a greater level of consciousness. So that the audit trail and the consciousness we felt were big advantages. We then observed, having done it for a few months, that people preferred video. by a matter of 8 to 1, I think it was. So when we went out and surveyed people and said, would you rather do a video or a form? 8 of them, eight times more said they'd rather do the video. And last and certainly no means least, we are able to grab intelligence from the videos. So using speech to text and using image recognition, we were able to start to scrape off some intelligence from these video streams. So you could look at the video stream automatically using AI and go, actually, is the tread on the tires good enough? And obviously, once you've done that and you start to build up that picture of intelligence, then you can start to take some actions with it. And that's sort of where we're at right now, is working out, okay, if you can work out that the tread on the tires isn't good enough, then obviously there's something to do. The next job is to automate that, bring that trailer in and make sure it has some maintenance done on it. So, it's been definitely very beneficial for us as a sort of a next step of, okay, 60 seconds, do a 60-second check before everything you do. We have now embedded that in the apps that we use to distribute the work. So they don't think they're using a Vyntelligence app. They're using one of our apps, and it just happens to have an interface into Vyntelligence. I mean, I think what we've seen looking at our data in the past is when people come back from holidays, that's typically the point at which they're most prone to have an accident. And as we go through these transitions, such as they are in the UK, and there'll be different sets of circumstances, I think we need to think very deliberately about what does that mean in terms of risk to the workforce, and make sure that everybody's got a heightened awareness that something is going to be different.